Hi, I'm going to talk today about inflation in Russia and how the figures the Kremlin quotes are at odds with easily found facts. The Russian central bank claims that inflation in Russia is at only 8% and predicts that it will be just 4% next year, hinting that there is no need for anyone to worry about the ever-expanding war economy. The figure of 8% would be considered very high at present for most of the developed world, but considering Russia's dire economic situation, it seems wildly underestimated. When we look at the situation in Russia, 8% really doesn't look at all accurate. I'm going to analyze a few details here in this video today, and you can make your own mind up about the state of the Russian economy. Over the past year, Russians have suffered interest rate increases 6 times, and the base interest rate today stands at 19%, but it will rise again in the next few days. This is extraordinary, as interest rates always follow inflation closely and rarely vary more than 2% either way. Only a fool could possibly believe the Kremlin figures. Inflation is normally calculated using the Consumer Price Index. It's based on a basket of groceries and other items like housing, clothing, and travel expenses such as cars. To check out the facts, I referred to Russia's Rosprodssoyuz, food industry body, and to Statistica. I found that price increases were astoundingly high. Apples increased 30% in 6 months. Carrots went up 62%. Beets rose by 92%. Potatoes increased by 82%. Cabbage by 35%. Lamb by 18%. Onions by 32%. And bread by 11%. Notice how all these items are the most basic foods that the poorest people of Russia would need to eat. How sad that it's these very people who are often tempted by huge bonuses to sign up for the military to feed their families. It's a choice between starvation or death on the front line. Due to the high interest rates, mortgages are currently at 22% for the interest only. Just imagine having to pay 1/5 of the capital borrowed each year in interest alone. Well, the cost of borrowing is only going to be even higher soon. So I went on to look at car prices and found that after Lada, the majority of cars sold in Russia are Chinese. 57 different brands sell in Russia, and in September alone, their prices rose by 10%. So what we hear is that car prices rose in 1 month more than the Kremlin states was the total inflation for the whole year. Would anyone believe those inflation figures? GM Uzbekistan, a manufacturer of cheap cars for Russia, increased their prices by 30% too, but they have also announced they won't be exporting to Russia anymore. Incidentally, China doesn't like dealing with Russia because of sanctions. And if you want proof of that, see their Voya Passion, a Chinese car most of us will never have heard of, but sells for an astounding $98,000 in Moscow. In China, this car sells for just $58,000. What a markup. I conclude from these details that inflation in Russia cannot possibly be 8%. But we all know that due to Putin's foolhardy wish to take Russia back to the miserable old days of the USSR and put the country on an eternal war footing, things can only get a lot worse. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for daily news on the Russian economy. Bye for now.